Okay, so have everyone's attention, please, for the Ordinary Council meeting on Monday, the 22nd of July, 2024. Welcome all councillors and staff. We have no apologies. Thank you all very much for participating. Councillor West is coming. Sorry, I did get a text saying he would be 10 minutes late. My apologies. He will be coming very soon. He's busy sheeping. So in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993, Cowra Council is recording this meeting and will upload the recording to Council's website. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded and having that recording published in the public domain. Please ensure that when you speak at council meetings, you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cowra Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We have Councillor West on his way, hopefully. And is there any disclosures of interest? The councillors and staff, please indicate in relation to any interest you need to declare, what report item you're declaring an interest in, whether the interest is pecuniary or non-pecuniary, and what the nature of the interest. Councillor Smith.
Item 3.1, donation to the Woodstock Memorial Show, non-pecuniary interest. As a member of the Show Society, I'll leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo.
Thank you. Item 3.4, the Traffic Committee meeting minutes, non-pecuniary interest. I am an executive member of the Cowra Junior Soccer Committee and I will be leaving the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further declarations of interest? If that's the case, we'll move on. No presentations, no public forum, and now we just need the confirmation of minutes from the meeting held on the 24th of June. So do I have somebody to move those minutes? Councillor Downing? Councillor Wright, thank you. Councillor Downing, would you like just the minutes of the ordinary council meeting, which we last month's council meeting? So everyone in favour of that? Aye. Say aye. And against? Thank you. Carried. Now we have the donation to the Woodstock Memorial Show. Councillor Smith is leaving the meeting and we're on page 25. Sorry. Sorry. Councillor Downing and Councillor Kiss. Councillor Downing, would you like to speak?
We discussed this in committee and I'm happy to move this with the full amount that the Woodstock Show Society has asked for, which was $2,000. I think the recommendation from staff was $1,500 just because of the amount of the increase. This is a community event that the money goes back into the community and also into infrastructure on showgrounds as well. So I'm more than happy to support it. And just to remind everyone that it is on in September.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Kiss, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I'd also just like to add that I noted they've got lots of free activities for kids as well. So I think it'd be a fantastic, affordable, family-friendly day out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further comments? Councillor Watt?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just very briefly in support of this request from the Woodstock Memorial Show. It's an event completely run by volunteers out there, and so the contribution of $2,000 will make a big impact into their ability to fundraise. As Councillor Downing said, the money raised here goes into funding a local community venue that's used regularly. It's also, as mentioned, a fantastic event that is very popular with young kids and young families in the community, and it's held on the 1st of September.
Thank you, Councillor Watt. Any further comment? Right of reply. Yes, Councillor Wright.
It's about that time of day. Yeah, no, I fully support this, and I went to a Agricultural Society show conference once, and what I learnt mostly out of that is shows are to show what you grow and share what you know, and the Woodstock community do that very well. They've got plenty of sections for people to enter things in and for people to compete in, and people can see how everything operates, from horse events and wood chopping and also in the pavilion with cooking and farm produce and the animals. So, and that's what the Cowra Shire is. So I think it's a good thing that we are supporting them.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Any further comments? Councillor Downey, would you like right of reply? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Now we have the note, Councillor Smith. Thank you, Councillor Watt. Now we have the investments and financial report, and the council note the investments and financial report for June 2024. We'll have somebody move that. Councillor Wright, Councillor Delbo, thank you very much. Councillor Wright, would you like to comment?
It's I think the figures presented show that we're in a very good position. People will notice that there's a lot of outstanding rates, but that's the case because it's the beginning of our financial year, and all the rates that are levied at the beginning of the year adds up to that total sum, and they'll be paid back over in the coming 12 months, either all at once or in quarterly payments, and or 4 monthly payments for water and so forth. And you'll see that track down as we go along. We do have a lot of money invested, but a lot of that is for grant money that we still do expend, and also for staff entitlements and so forth. We also have money there to cover any excess expenses with the Wyangler sewerage system. It costs a lot of money to put in, it costs a lot of money to run, and at the present time we need more people to be hooked onto it, but that won't happen greatly until Reflections Holiday Park come on board, and but we still can only charge the same sewerage rate out there as what we charge in town for, so no one's getting, so it's the same price wherever you go. And we also have money invested for infrastructure development from the sale of Yarrabilly and a few other asset sales. So that's why we've got so much money invested, but it's all to do with making sure that the council's got money to run its program completely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Delbo, would you like to comment?
Nothing's required. That was very comprehensive. Thank you, Councillor Wright.
Thank you,
Should have
Councillor
made
Delbo.
notes. Sorry, I should have made notes.
Councillor Wright, would you like? Is there anyone else would like to comment? Councillor, would you like right of reply?
Normally I do argue with myself, but I won't this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Passed. Now, the rent of enclosed dedicated roads on page 25. Do I have somebody? Councillor Smith, thank you. Somebody second that. Councillor Downing, thank you. Councillor Smith, would you like to comment?
As discussed at the committee meeting, there was an error in the calculation of the rental of some of these dedicated roads for the next financial year, and that error has been or will be corrected by this recommendation, so that the annual rent will only go up by the rate pegging increase.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Downing.
Just to say that, yes, we did discuss it in committee and that it's a great pickup from the staff, and this is a much more sensible idea, and I think that the people who are paying these fees should be happy with that.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Anyone else wish to comment? In that's the way, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Committee minutes for the traffic committee, and Councillor Delbo has left the room, and it's on page 26. And will somebody move that? Councillor Smith. Somebody second that? Councillor Downing. Thank you. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor Fagan. It's all set out below. If anyone's got any questions, now would be the time for Dirk and I to answer.
I note that Dirk has supplied some further information about the level 2B 30 metre A doubles via email. So if anyone has any questions for Dirk about that, that'd be great. Councillor Downing, would you like to comment? Anyone else got any further comments? that's the case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Second, Councillor Delbo. Section 355, Committee Minutes, Sale Yards Committee. Thank you, Councillor Watt. Right. A seconder? Councillor Smith, thank you very much. Councillor Wright, would you like to comment?
As a committee member, I feel that the sale yards is operating very well with the under the current conditions. There's a lot of pressure from over the hook selling and from auctions plus selling, but we are maintaining a reasonable number of lambs going through there, and the quality of the lambs is always good. And what will be addressed later, we're currently updating the yards and the 4 drafts to be able to administer the EID, electronic ear tags system, when it starts on the 1st of January. It does commence on the 1st of July 2024 for for abattoirs and other and some other operators within the industry. The also of note is we did have a few complaints from truck drivers that the condition of the men's toilet was not up, was often not as clean as it could be, and things have been put in place there to make that better. And it's not something that's just used on sale day. We have a very good truck wash facility there. It's renowned within the region of having very good pressure supply, and it's a lot easier to hose their trucks out here and at many other places due to the slope of the slab and the pressure of the water, and that results in a cheaper operation, although it still runs into a lot of money for transport operators. And we are putting together a 60th anniversary of these yards that were opened on the 23rd of October in 64, when they moved up from down halfway along the golf club on the Young Road. And we also special mention there to the committee member that has resigned, and Ian Wright. We did move that our chairman, Bill West, write the letter, but it'd be best coming from the mayor. Ian's been involved in all facets of the meat industry, from butcher shops, farming, wholesaling, farmers markets, and he has contributed well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Smith, would you like to speak? Anyone else would like to speak on this? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Development application number 14, 2024. This is for noting. So
The next one. That's the next one.
this one has to be moved. Can have somebody move that? Councillor Smith, Councillor Kiss. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Sorry.
This is a minor modification to a carport. It's come to us because it doesn't quite comply with some setbacks, including the side setback, but it's been thoroughly researched by the director and her staff, and it has no impact on neighbours. It doesn't overshadow in any way, and it's consistent with other such buildings nearby. So I move that it be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Kiss. Does anyone else want to comment? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye and raise your hand. Thank you. Carried. The next one on page 31 is the development application 80/2023. It's for noting because there is a further one. So I need somebody to move that we note this report. Councillor Kiss, Councillor Smith, thank you. And all those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Now we're up to page 42. And this is the Director of Corporate Services, draft minutes of the Regional Art Gallery Advisory Committee. Councillor Delvo.
I think I need to move an amendment because we have 2 meeting minutes as the attachments. And in the recommendation, we only have the 8th of May noted. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Yep, so, yeah. Is the 12th correct? That one?
8.
Yeah, 12th. Yeah. Mm. So,
Yeah, so with those alterations,
one was the
you'll
8th and the
move
other
that.
is
Any
8th and 12th.
8th and 12th.
thank
Somebody
you.
second that motion. Thank you, Councillor Downing.
Thank you.
Delbo.
Through the chair, I'd like to just comment that there are 2 meeting minutes here in front of us, and over those 2 months, the gallery has had 4 events, or exhibitions, and is also gearing up for the Colleen Art Awards for 2025, which has had outstanding commitment so far. We also have, you would have noted in the meeting minutes, council has been offered the opportunity for new acquisitions under the gallery's cultural gifts program. It was best decided by the committee for the director and council staff to handle the management and the administration of those such collections. One of those collections is involving Indigenous artwork, and then the other is in the area of sculptures. And then the final major point in the meeting minutes was that Bathurst Council has an amazing facility to store cultural sensitive items, and as a result of that, we have taken out a 12-month arrangement to move some of the stock from the Cowra gallery that we do not have sufficient space for to be stored there while we have better use of the Cowra gallery site. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Councillor Downing.
Yes, I just wanted to pick up on the point that Councillor Delbo made about the acquisitions and what high quality they are. I was Googling some of the people, and it's amazing that a Cowra local gallery could get that. So hopefully they'll be advertised and lots of people come and have a look.
They are excellent. Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just to reflect on what Councillor Delbo said, I was really pleased to read about the Bathurst storage facility. One of those housekeeping things, I suppose, that lay people like myself don't always consider, you know, the long-term effects of weathering and how to store these incredible art pieces. So fingers crossed it actually works well for us and it bodes in our favour so that we'll be able to increase our collection again.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further comment? Councillor Wright.
Just a question, how much money is it going to cost us to store things at Bathurst and transporting from Cowra to Bathurst? Have we got to use a special courier, and we have to have special insurance to cover the value of the artworks being transferred?
I'd take the one about individual transport items, but we are covered with for travel insurance. That's been in place for quite some time.
It doesn't cost.
Just following up that,
Can you come
the
back?
travel insurance.
I'll come back on both.
Yeah, if you come back, has it got a sealed upper limit or something? Because some of these things could be quite valuable, not your normal couple of $1,000s or something.
Thank you,
Just-
Councillor Wright. I think the director will probably get back to us with a report about what's going to happen, I'd say. It's quite a big, could be a big investment. We don't know, really.
Yeah, and I'm just interested. It has to be stored somewhere, and I'm just interested in how much money it's going to cost us if we look for a site in town that could be developed into because it's all temperature controlled, isn't it? This storage, and there might be other things that we can store there too, like past mayors and councillors. Keep them fresh. Thank you.
Excellent. Any further comment? Councillor Watt would like to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank the Art Gallery Committee for always putting their minutes to us. It's always a good read. They're very busy there, and as has been noted, we're very lucky to have such a high quality art gallery here. My understanding is that the gallery has been in conversation with a number of organisations locally, including the Japanese Gardens, around the option of creating a local storage facility. So it's my understanding that the decision to look to Bathurst for the next 12 months is based on quite a bit of analysis of what the cost would be for us building locally. Nevertheless, I think it's definitely a long-term investment for us to consider, and it would be. I look forward to hearing from the director of those figures, so we as council can also consider that, because I think primarily that conversation has happened outside of council. But as noted, it's a very important piece in making sure we look after this, as I think we all saw at the festival when some fairly significant pieces were brought out of storage in relation to the Cowra Italy relationship, and we know that the storage of that is very important, and there are a lot of pieces that we need to look after. So looking forward to hearing from the director on that.
Thank you, Councillor Watt. Any further comment? Right of reply, Councillor Delbo?
I just wanted to take this opportunity to actually thank the committee for the Cowra Regional Art Gallery. They're listed here, being present at the meetings. They're such a dedicated, quiet achievers. They are used extensively for installing the art exhibitions, and then actually taking them down and making sure they're handled correctly and packed and moved on to the places where they need to go next. They are always available when the gallery director requests us to assist. They always put their hand up. They're very professional in delivering lighting and information cards next to the art pieces, and they've done this year in, year out. And I just want to personally thank them for the contribution that they do to the arts footprint for Cowra. Although, some of these, as I said, they do this quite quietly. They don't go after awards. They just turn up, and they're so reliable. And yeah, I just want to shine a light on them for a little short moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. Thank you. Page 50, we have the release of closed decisions from the meetings on 27th of May and 24th of June. Somebody move that. Councillor Smith, Councillor Judy Smith, Councillor Delbo. Thank you. Councillor Smith.
This is really a housekeeping issue. These are decisions that were made at council in May and June, and they were made in closed council for various reasons, including commercial in confidence, but the council policy is that as soon as practicable, those decisions be released to the public, and that's what is happening here.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo, would you like to comment?
I just wanted to also raise, obviously, the item around the surveillance for the dams. It's a considerable figure there, and again, it's another cost that the state government has placed on local government, which we're not too happy about. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment? Councillor Wright.
Just a question. In the last sentence, it said these decisions have now been released by the chairperson. Is that chairperson as the mayor or the chairperson of Mannix, or?
It's the chairperson of the committee, or sorry, the council meeting,
At the
which
council
in
meeting, which I.
majority of instances is the mayor.
Thank you. If anyone further comments, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. We're on page 52, 181, and this is the Cowra Sport and Recreation Council minute. Councillor Downing and Councillor Kiss. Thank you. Councillor Downing.
I will take any questions if anyone's got anything. There's a bit of stuff in there, but just to briefly say that there is a change that isn't recorded in here. The Sport and Rec Networking Night is going to be postponed until October. It was scheduled for the 24th of July. It's due to the unavailability of staff. There's a lot going on at the moment. There's the anniversary of the breakout. There's the Peace Day. There's all sorts of things like that happening. The staff member that is usually going to this is going on an exchange to Japan, which is really important. And then there's an election. So So just ideas. This committee is small. but very active. They have thought of different things and they're following through plans. The most exciting thing is a Cowra Families into Sport project where they're excited about. We've had chats about. We get reports from about the maintenance and different things that are happening at the grounds. We've got some grants to do plans for major works for women's sporting facilities at Mullian and West Cowra Oval. So yeah, I'll take any questions. Anyone?
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Kiss? Oh, first, Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And yes, I'd like to congratulate Councillor Downing. There's a very, very busy committee and an awful lot happening. I was getting a bit excited about the Kids and Parents Introductory Sports Program. I love the idea of 6 weeks with one sport per week. And parents and sports, I'm wondering if the parents can actually be involved too, because I think that would be brilliant. Thanks.
So that's probably up for grabs. It may just be a day. The 6 sports will be on the day, but yes, definitely parent involvement is in it. It was based on, we received a submission from the University of Newcastle, which had a dads and daughters program. It was quite expensive and would have been an ongoing cost for the council. Was out of our price range. But our committee members have decided that they would like to do something not just for dads and daughters, but for families. And that way kids could get involved in sport. So the sports that they're thinking of is triathlon, athletics, cricket and basketball. And then there'd be a lunch break and there would be golf, soccer, league tag and AFL would happen on the day. So yeah, and definitely encouraging the parents to come along as well. That's how you get new players in sport, but you also get new volunteers. So yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Smith?
Yes, could someone explain to a poor simple bugger what a swish video is, please?
Oh, so Swish Video is Swish is a company that makes videos from sports stars, really. I think it's mainly sports stars. And you pay money and they do a video. So, for example, we've had one in our family for a birthday during COVID because we couldn't have a party. And so the player that this person chose was not my choice, but anyway. And they do a 30-second video. You explain to them a little bit about the person and they said happy birthday, and they said a few things about like that we know you've gone for this club for a while, so they do a little talk. So yeah, so we were thinking that something like that, the theme of the networking night could be to celebrate all the great things that our local sports people are doing. We've got some listed there. And also this Swish video, which could come from Ellie, which was going to be just like around the time of the Olympics. So yeah, the later date will maybe change that, but we can still do that to get her to encourage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good explanation. Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Wright?
Sorry.
I've got 2 questions. First question, I noted that you noted that the soccer club be included in the master plan for West Cowra Recreation Ground. Would the dog racing fraternity be involved too? I don't think they're on the committee, are they?
They aren't on the committee, and I haven't heard that they will be. I'm not sure if they actually still use it.
Yeah, but
Only for training.
Only for training. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just wondering
I'm sure that all the staff will manage, when they manage that, they will include all the
Yeah.
user groups, and if they're listed as a user group, they would be included in it.
Oh, that's all right. I just want to make sure we don't make decisions that.
No.
The other thing is those potential athletes for the network event. Is Brody Feen? He's the recent athletic
Yes.
fellow. That, yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. No, so I'm just making sure that he's included. He was on the television. But
Yeah, so it would have just been celebrating, and that were just some of the names that were thrown around, just celebrating our local sports people who are doing a wonderful job, like on the big stage at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Any further comment? I'll put the motion. I'll write a reply. I think you've wrote a lot of replies. Thank you for answering the questions. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. And welcome, Councillor West. Yes. Apologies for being late. Where's your ticket. Page 59, we're up to the section, the Civic Centre Theaterette seating. And Councillor Smith and Councillor Delbo. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. Councillors recently went up to the upstairs theaterette and had a look at what has been achieved with the grant funding of over 300,000 so far, which includes new carpeting and tiles and a hearing assistance mechanism and stepped tiers to put seating on. Council had put down a 50% deposit for the seating to a particular company, which unfortunately, before it delivered the seating, went into administration. And while council is still pursuing that over $40,000, we have no expectation of receiving it back. Council still needs to put appropriate seating up there, and therefore we're asking for an increase of up to 40% in capital expenditure to be provided if needed to go with the 60,000 or so that is remaining from that grant funding.
Thank you.
What did I say?
Dollars.
Listen to what I mean.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo.
Thank you so much. Obviously, this is a misfortunate event that has taken place and wished it didn't. However, we have the motion in front of us tonight. Seating is so important at a cinema. Obviously, besides the screen and the popcorn, we have to get it right. It will help with visitation to the Civic Centre generally, but also create a more positive experience for those that are going to go see the latest movies. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Any further comment?
This resolution highlights that Cowra Shire Council is a business, and while we've been granted money that was to cover all the costs of the upgrading of the theaterette, sometimes things go astray, and this is no fault of the staff or anything. It's just the supplier's gone into liquidation, and as a business, Cowra Shire Council needs to complete the theaterette so it can be used, and we can operate the way we wanted to operate in the original recommendation for the upgrade. So it's unfortunate that we got to dig into our own money or another source of money, but we need to complete this so the community have got the benefit of a better facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Any further comment? Councillor Smith.
Yes, I think we need to finish what we've started there. I'm of the opinion that the Civic Centre business model is not working at all. But if we only go halfway to doing it to see whether it works, it's going to be a failure anyway. So I think we need to finish it, see if it'll work, because then we have some decisions to make over the business model of the Civic Centre.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any further comments? Councillor Smith. Oh, Councillor Downing.
Just like to say that I agree with Councillor Smith that we really need to do this. I'm not necessarily sure the Civic Centre works the way we want it to at the moment. This seating that we saw last week, we had a briefing with the manager, and it is going to be gold class seating. So they will be more expensive, it will be comfortable, it's going to be an experience, and I'm excited to see how it ends up.
Thank you, Councillor Downing. Councillor Smith, would you like right of reply? If that's the case, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. We're on to the Director of Infrastructure and Operations and page 60, and there is a report there to be noted and received. And so do I have somebody who would move that? Councillor Paul Smith, Councillor Delbo. Councillor Smith.
Yes, we've discussed this in the information meeting. It's complicated, and we have to account for these funds. We have to do it by a certain time. And to get our value out of those funds, this is the best option we've got.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo.
Thank you. I actually missed the information meeting, so I've just got a question, please. As stated, we have been given funding and has to be allocated and spent by certain dates, and hence that's what this report is about. We mention that we're getting over 1.4 million, and that's the breakdown in the information there as Part B and Part A. And then we're going to allocate funds to the items that are listed, potentially listed on, oh God, whatever that page number, 61, I think it is.
Yeah.
Are we aware of how much funding may be allocated to those potential areas, or how much we're allocating to the roads side of things, please?
Through the chair, the intent is to, excuse me, allocate 915 plus 528 to those projects. Yeah, so the grant funding amount. So the 915 plus 528 will be used to fund roadworks that are already in our adopted long-term financial plan, and then that amount can be put into reserve and used to fund our community facilities shown on page 60. The list of facilities shown on page 61 and 62.
Thank you. I should have come to the information meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so any further comments? Right of reply? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Now we have page 65, another infrastructure and operations report. And this is to allocate the funds. So Councillor Watt and somebody else seconded. Councillor West, thank you. Councillor Watt?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for this report. We greatly welcome the increase in funding around the Roads to Recovery program, and going forward, this increase will not only allow some fairly significant upgrades for our infrastructure across our shire, which will reduce the ongoing costs for council in maintaining it, but it'll also, as articulated in this report, make a really significant difference to the safety of our roads. As this report highlights, there's some changes in the what the research identifies as the priorities for creating safe roads, which is what we've changed our allocation of target projects for going forward, particularly the identifying the priorities, reducing implications and likelihood of intersection crashes and lane departures. And the proposal here is that we significantly invest in wider seal roads, which has been shown to reduce the likelihood of head-on crashes on undivided roads, shoulder sealing, which reduces the likelihood of road departure crashes and means that our roads are more capable of handling higher efficiency freight vehicles like A-doubles. Now, everyone around town would know that's a fairly significant part of the road infrastructure here, and I'm sure many in the community would be happy to see that really provides a good incentive for industry to keep running their businesses here locally and to consider Cowra as a place for business. The two particular projects that have been highlighted here for the next financial year of Banger Road and North Logan Road are two roads that are quite heavily used by our industry, and I imagine we'll be able to be much safer. As someone who drives on those roads occasionally, living out that way, it will definitely be much safer when they're widened, and will mean that those businesses are able to use those higher efficiency vehicles, and I'm sure get more outcomes for the community. The proposal also here talks about the priority of improving disaster resilience, which is something those of us who attended the local government conference in Canberra a couple of weeks ago really heard about the benefits of investing in disaster prevention or resilience. First, I think they say for each dollar in disaster prevention or resilience, you save $8 in the outcomes in the end. So by making sure that our roads are moving to a greater proportion of sealed roads. We know that when disaster hits, and it will hit our community again, the maintenance effort and the downtime afterwards will be less, which I think is a really fantastic outcome for our community. We know we can't stop the floods coming, but if we can stop the impact of the floods, that's really great. So I think, as noted, this is a really exciting development that the Roads to Recovery funding will double over the next 5 years. And I really congratulate the staff for their work here in identifying significant projects that will improve the road safety for our community, and encourage my fellow councillors to adopt this plan.
Thank you, Councillor Watt. Councillor West.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy to support the recommendation. I think to me this highlights probably two issues, or three issues, and one, as Councillor Watts indicated, is that we are, as a council, responsible to, always have been responsible, and I hope continue to be responsible in trying to improve the assets, our road assets, and make them more amenable and more trafficable and more open to heavy vehicles and all sorts of infrastructure and transport industry, etc. I think it also highlights the local government across the landscape's need for road recovery funding. I hope that this council in years to come will continue to pursue the need for road recovery funding to be increased, because the backlog is enormous, both in Cowra and across the nation. And without that federal funding, the roads will deteriorate. We're going to have a bigger backlog of roads. I also see this as partly a little bit of cost shifting, where other authorities and other organisations and industry have created a need for better roads, and that's justifiable. And federal government or state government give us funding, but the funding never quite enough to actually do the job, to bring up the standard we want. So we've got this kind of a little bit of I guess, give and take situation where someone else decides what we should do, we're forced to do it, but we never quite get the funds to actually do what we know we need to do and should do. So I fully support it, but with those comments, I think good luck going forward, because it's a drum we need to keep banging on about.
Thank you, Councillor West. Any further comments? Councillor Wright.
Firstly, a question. I couldn't pick up what PBS stands for under the National Heavy Vehicle Regulator.
Through the chair, PBS stands for performance-based standards. So it's, rather than having a prescriptive standard which says the truck can't be any longer than 26 metres, or the axles have to be placed here, there's a series of performance-based standards that manufacturers can meet in terms of the drivability of the truck, I suppose, is the best way of explaining.
Thank you. And the only comment I'll make regarding this is that our permits have increased for these PBS, and it's noted that Cowra Shire has a lot of regional roads going through it where these vehicles can travel anyway. To get onto our local roads, they need to either have permits, so forth, so they don't have to be broken up or parked somewhere and one half goes in and one half goes out, because consumers want to use the cheapest form of transport, and it's got in their mind the bigger the vehicle, the cheaper it's going to be. And Transport for New South Wales is quite happy to take the registration for these vehicles, which is a considerable amount of money, but they don't seem to be as willing to offer more money to the local government to ensure that we can upgrade our roads to be able to take these heavier vehicles or longer vehicles. They're not so much heavier per axle, they're sometimes a bit lighter, but there's more wheels on the road, and therefore we need wider and better roads. And I think if they're going to take registration off these vehicles, they need to provide more money to the local government network. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Watt. Right. I'm just thinking Wright, Watt and West all together are a bit hard. Councillor Smith.
Yes, I fully endorse this, and I take Councillor Wright's comments. I can remember when a B double was a rare thing. They couldn't travel here. You had B double routes where they could go and they couldn't. Now they can go everywhere. And our roads suffer. These particular vehicles, these A doubles, are lighter on the roads than what the B doubles are. But we still have to get a permit to go on things, and this is the future. These things are not going to go away. And as Councillor Wright said, people want it at a price, the best price they can get, and these type of vehicles provide that. So this is going to be more and more rather than less and less.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any further comment? Right of reply, Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly, I think we're all in agreement of the importance of this road infrastructure. I think it's a great reflection by Councillor Paul Smith around the change in time and particularly the reduction in rail infrastructure around Cowra. We were unfortunate not to be included in part of the rail infrastructure that's going on out with our neighbouring councils. So the importance of road infrastructure and our ability to continue to encourage industry this way is very, very important. And while we know there are specified routes we regularly see as changes in our community infrastructure, where our community live, where our community are driving, freight vehicles are using alternate routes, and we need to be cautious and prepare for that, and also identify the reason they are doing that. As we know, the council is advocating for a third crossing of the Lachlan River, in part because our trucks are looking for alternate ways to get across, and there are implications on our bridge. There are implications on our the heavy traffic around that area, which is resulting in roads that aren't capable being damaged and not being held up to it. While it would be good if we all had better systems, we know that the cost of business is an impact on our roads. We see that every harvest with the impact of having tractors on our roads, the impact that it has, but it's a cost of doing business, unfortunately, and we know that there's great impacts in it. And I think it's our responsibility as council to do as much as we can to make sure that our infrastructure is cost effective for our community going forward, that it is the right thing for the industry that we are looking to encourage. And I think by the receival of this increase, yes, we always would like lots more, but double is quite a significant increase from the federal government. And personally, I think that's a really big impact for our community, and I'm very thankful for that. As the report articulates, it'll make a significant difference in the amount of time it will we will need to. It will drastically extend the amount of time that we need to service intervals. Sorry, that didn't make sense, but it'll drastically reduce the amount of times we have to repair it and the amount of work we need to do over the years to repair it. As mentioned, it'll also improve our disaster resilience and will mean that there's less downtime on our roads for our industry. And I think this is a great plan from our team, and very keen to see it implemented.
Thank you, Councillor Watt. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. On page 79, we have the development application, which was noted earlier. So I need somebody to move that. Councillor Smith, Councillor Judy Smith, Councillor Nikki Kiss. Thank you very much. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. This development application was discussed pretty exhaustively at the committee meeting. The reason we noted the earlier iteration in this council meeting was that it included the original DA application, included, if I recollect correctly, an application to demolish the original house on the site. That had already been given permission. So we're acknowledging that in this new recommendation. It comes to council because the one existing house is proposed to be converted into a space with 4 detached dwellings, and those dwellings don't meet all the setback and privacy considerations that are needed. However, private open space is deemed adequate because of some decking in a quite ingenious plan, I guess, some decking and some side setbacks. The other consideration is the closeness of the detached dwellings to each other, in particular a couple of them where in one a window is less than 5 metres from the decking of another house, and that is proposed to be addressed with perhaps some latticing or some slats on the window, and also some latticing or higher than the 1.8 metre fencing that will prevent the window overlooking that decking and vice versa. So with that, I recommend the development to you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I'd actually like to congratulate the owner on taking the opportunity to create the 4 detached dwellings and the subdivision. I see that this is actually a good example of diversity of our housing stock. You can clearly see that the one house that was built there from many, many moons ago was the expectation of the standard family and what was expected. And we expect different things from our housing these days. We've got different family structures, different family needs. And I also note in there too that there's been an extra consideration given to the livability standards, such as for ageing in place. And being that it's close to town, I think it's an ideal position for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further comments? Right of reply, Councillor Smith. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you very much.
Just a question, Madam Mayor. On page 70, there was a report on road recovery. Was that what we discussed in the previous one, or
That was part of the transport assets upgrade planning.
that was all part of it?
Yes, roads to recovery program. Yes.
Righto, thank you. I just read it was a separate recommendation, that's all.
No, that was from 19, I think you'll find. It was a former report. 2018, April 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is no late reports, no confidential matters, no notice. Yes, no notices of motion. Confidential matters, I will ask that the now take a motion to close the meeting to public consider following confidential reports. The Sale Yards EID installation project is matters to be considered to be confidential under section 10A2DI of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. Now we're on page 245. Councillor West, Councillor Watt. Thank you. All those in favour? Against? Carried.